guys, good morning. Hope it's been a good one so far, or if it hasn't started for you yet, hope it turns into a good one. Today's video, we are going to talk about a very controversial topic, and that would be bathrooms. So one of the biggest questions that I do get is, well, what bathroom do you use when you go out in public? Or do you think it's right that just because you're trans you get to use a girl bathroom, blah, 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 blah. So to answer that question bluntly first, I avoid public bathrooms like the plague. If it is at all possible for me to avoid it, I will. The reason being is that, I hate to put boys on blast, but a lot of men tend to be more judgmental with it, and they figure out if you got the other part between your legs that you shouldn't have any business using the other bathroom. The problem with this theory is, and don't get me wrong, I get their fear. I get that there are pedophiles out there, etc. Difference is, most pedophiles are not transgender. And just because you're transgender does not mean that you are a pedophile. There are some out there, yes, I'll give you that. But the majority of pedophiles, believe it or not, boys, are straight men. Straight men. Okay, so with that out of the way, bathrooms when you're trans are one of the most dangerous places that we can go. I would literally rather walk down a dark alley in LA by myself than use a public bathroom. Doing so doesn't just risk a beating. It could be the shit beaten out of you, it could be rape, or it could be death. If you're a trans girl and you use a boys' restroom, you're unfortunately liable to get those things happen to you. If you're a trans boy, it's even worse because unfortunately oftentimes there are still more places to choose from for the offender of your choice. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter how good at protecting yourself you are or how good a fighter you are, numbers can mean something, you know. First off, there's always somebody out there who can beat somebody else's ass. Like, I don't give a shit how strong you are, there's somebody out there that can beat your ass. So, you know, one's dangerous enough, especially if you don't like to fight. But numbers do have an effect. So it's super scary. So the flip side of that is if we use the women's bathroom, like as my preference, if I absolutely positively have to use one, then there's the risks in that if the woman inside, if there is another person inside or one comes in, feels offensive at it, she will tell her boyfriend, husband, whatever, and conflict will ensue. Thankfully, I've heard of less of the other problems like rape happening in the women's bathroom, but I have heard of beatdowns, etc. Overall, if I had to pick between one, whether or not which way you're transitioning, I would say go with the women's. If you're a trans boy, go with the women's. Unfortunately, if you absolutely have to pick one, as far as physically, it tends to be safer unless you are at the point that you are passable enough to do so without worrying. Like, I've got several friends, they're so far in their transition that they sound, look, everything like a boy, like who they are. They don't have to worry about it as much. But if you're not comfortable with your passability, make the default. Also, the great thing is so many big markets and stuff like that now, like Walmart, Target, etc. Most of those have a bathroom somewhere that is gender neutral. Go with that. In the event that you cannot hold it and you absolutely have to use a public restroom and you do not have access to a gender neutral one thing that I've opted to do is I will straight up ask a staff member to check the bathroom for me and make sure nobody else is in there, and then make sure nobody else goes in there. It's really, really sad that we have to take these extremes, but it is a very, very, very definitive safety measure. Perfect example is my partner and I had gone to Red Lobster months ago now, and we had been out and about all day. We had some drinks with some friends earlier in the day, so I've also got the alcohol trying to come through me, right? And I got to the point I had to use the bathroom. The staff member, and this is where I got the idea to just ask a staff if it's bad enough, right? She kind of saw my dilemma, like she saw me checking the doors and seeing if there was a neutral bathroom. She says, do you have to use the bathroom? And I says, yeah. And I says, but I don't want to use that one, and I'm scared to use the other. She went in and she yelled, is anybody in there? Nobody was there. And then she literally stood by the door and let me business out of the way and come out. I was super grateful. A little embarrassed about it, but it was definitely worth not having to get into a fight when I'm supposed to be on a date with my partner, right? So that is definitely an option. If you can't do that, yell, make sure it's clear. Unfortunately, again, boys, I hate to put you on blast, but there are a lot of them that look for a reason. I've used one before, and it was empty when I went in there. I didn't have anybody that could watch the door for me. And a mom had come in with her daughter, and I didn't realize that anybody else was even in there at this point. And so I'm washing my hands, and they come to the door, and nothing said. It's not a big deal, whatever. I finish washing my hands, I leave, and her husband or boyfriend sees me come out, and he tried to start a fight. He's like, you fucking creep, you're in there with my daughter, da-da-da-da. I'm like, they came in after I'd been in there, okay? I've been in there for a good 2 minutes, you know, take a pee, wash my hands, all that good stuff. They came in after me. That's their fucking fault. Don't say somebody's a creep when you don't know what's going on, da-da-da-da. And it kind of just evolved from there. It got worse and worse and worse. Him trying to start a fight over it. I did ignore it. I'm proud of myself. I mean, I responded verbally, but I didn't let it get physical. But so the sad part is that I'm sorry, but if you're trans, it doesn't matter what the situation in the other people's eyes, it's going to be your fault. I don't mean to scare you, but we need to know what we're getting into. So yes, in general, most trans people like myself will not use a public bathroom if they have any other option. And I don't recommend it. As far as cis people, try and be more understanding. Like I said, I get the fear. A lot of people worry about a pedophile that's just going to dress up like a girl so they can use a bathroom. The chances of that are slimmer than your neighbor molesting your kid, okay? I hate to be that blunt, but try and be a little understanding. Sometimes we all just got to take a freaking piss. Sorry, I know this video was a little bit more graphic, and that's all for today. Although if you guys are lucky, I might do a couple of non-live video posts of what I do for work, because I've had some people curious. I've done a couple of like photos like the hoods downstairs and stuff, and people are like, well, wait, what are you actually doing? So it's not too crazy. I might post some of those later. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.